Hey Insiders, this week I've got Todd from Search and Discovery back on the show. Welcome back, Todd.
Thank you.
You know, your previous two videos about the algorithm were the best performing videos that the channel has ever had. So we couldn't help but ask you to come back and talk some more.
I swear I didn't juice anything.
Well, you know what? If you did, I wouldn't complain, but I know you're an honest man and you wouldn't do that. However, we also did promise the Insider viewers to leave comments in the previous two videos, and then we would try and review them and get back to the most popular ones. So I have 4 questions for you.
All right.
From the comments, and in the spirit of keeping it real, should we just go
Let's
through them?
jump right in.
All right, let's get it on. First question. If you're a new creator, is it pretty much impossible to break through because it's so competitive and starting from zero, like, should I even try?
No, it's not impossible. This is something, I work on the discovery team, and so a big thing that we try to do is help people discover new channels. And so if there's a new channel out there that's producing great content, we really want to do a good job of getting it out there to people. In terms of like, are there new channels that are actually breaking through anymore on YouTube, given all the competition? This is something I actually looked into and my team looked into specifically, and we've been tracking over several years. And there's 2 things that we've looked at to try to understand how creators are breaking through. The first one is looking at how many creators are crossing sort of a breakthrough milestone. And one that we often look at is how many creators hit 100,000 subs for the first time and 100,000 daily hours of watch time. And the good news is what we've seen is that the number of channels that are crossing that milestone is 4 times what it was just 2 years ago.
Wow.
So there's a lot more channels breaking through. And the other thing that we've been looking at is, well, how long does it take to break through? Because, you hear stories about how some channels are like going at it for, many years, just growing slowly. The other metric we look at is how many days does it take from the first upload from a channel until they hit that big milestone. And that number has also been improving, and it's taking those channels 40% less time than it did 2 years ago to break through. So overall, there's a lot more channels breaking through, and they're doing it faster than ever before that we've seen. And so I would encourage, keep at it. It's not something that always happens, immediately, but it is happening faster for a lot of channels.
Awesome. Okay, so more people are breaking through. There's also more people starting channels too, though. Is that fair, or?
I think that's true. I haven't been monitoring those stats as closely, so there may be more competition, and the actual likelihood of you breaking through may be going up or down as that competition increases. So yeah, that is one of the things to keep in mind. But what I would recommend is thinking about, like, well, what do you have? What do you want to offer to the audience that isn't already out there? Where's the opportunity to make videos that YouTube already doesn't have, so that there's going to be less competition in those areas? Or what are the areas that there might be some videos, but they're just not great?
Okay.
So I think that's where I would recommend new creators not to just kind of like chase all the same content that's doing well already, because there's a lot of competition there. Okay,
next question. A lot of creators find that sometimes they need to take a break, Making a channel ain't easy sometimes, right? If they take a break and they want to just like unplug for a few weeks or maybe like the whole summer, will the algorithm basically kill the channel and say, well, that channel's out of it, and then when you upload again, you kind of have to start all over as if you're brand new and all of the good work you've done is kind of thrown out?
So the short answer, the good answer is no. The algorithm's not going to kill anyone's channel because they stopped uploading for a while. So I had the chance to see Swoozy. He's a successful creator. He was speaking about what made his channel successful. I think he has 5 million subs, hundreds of millions of views. And he said something, he really gets it. And he said something that really stayed with me, and he said, the audience is the boss. And that's true when it comes to vacations too. The algorithm is not the boss. The algorithm doesn't set vacation policies at YouTube, fortunately.
Thank God.
And if you have an audience that really cares about your content, you know, you take some time off, you come back, they're going to be there looking for your next video as well. I can say that, but I also looked at the data. I actually analyzed hundreds of channels that took a break of at least 2 weeks over the summer. And the typical one took about 4 weeks off. And I looked at what their watch time was the week before they took a break, and then what was their watch time the week that they came back. And the majority of channels that took a break had more watch time when they came back than when they left. Now, it's not a guarantee. Maybe there's something about taking some time off really helps get your creative juices refreshed. Yeah, the majority of channels that took a break came back stronger than ever. So it's definitely possible to take a vacation and come back as strong or stronger than before. I know I just saw last week because somebody sent me something about another creator. She decided to take all of October off. And she didn't even tell her audience how long she was going to be gone. She just said, I'm going to take a break. And she came back a month later, and her sort of comeback video is one of the strongest ones she's had this year. So those are just some examples I've seen, and the data shows to me that taking a break can actually be a good thing. And I know it's got to be hard for a lot of creators that you know, really put a lot of energy into every video and upload really frequently. I'd encourage you to take the time you need. I think it's important.
Okay, and just so we're clear, the opposite is also not true. That if you take a break, the algorithm doesn't give you any special benefits for like welcome home kind of.
No, there's no special logic in there that knows about vacations or breaks. It's just taking the video and trying to find who's going to be interested in watching it, and if your audience is still using YouTube and we show them your video and they're engaging it, then we're back to normal. Yeah,
so most likely, I guess one theory would be when they took the break, they recharged, and then the next video was had a little more oomph.
Yeah, maybe there was some pent-up demand and everybody was really excited to have them back.
So it is okay from time to time to take a break if you need to.
Yeah.
Great. All right, next question. If you have a channel and you're uploading regularly, and then you have a video that just does not resonate with the audience, doesn't do well, people don't watch it, they don't like it as much, they don't watch as much of it. The concern is like, oh no, now the algorithm thinks that my whole channel is reflected in the performance of this last video. I'm kind of hosed. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so my take is that you know, like I said earlier, the algorithm is not the boss here, it's the audience. And what primarily drives who sees your video and how many views you get is how the audience is responding to that video. So, you know, people have dud videos all the time. I see it happen on even the best channels. But then their next video is just, you know, if it's a great video, then it comes back. I actually haven't seen this. I'd love to see if anybody has examples and wants to post them in the comments. I'd love to see an example of a channel that was doing great, had one bad video, and then was dead forever. I haven't seen that. I don't think that's typically how the audience works. I mean, I imagine there could be something you could really upset your audience such that they all left. But, you know, typically everyone sees some unsubscribe activity when they upload a video. But for the most part, I think people will, if they're not interested in the video, they just won't watch it. But as far as how we look at it, we're going to test that next video and see if the audience is interested in that one. And if they are, it doesn't really matter that much what happened previously.
Yeah, you know, that's something that you had mentioned to me in the past, that in a way, every new video is kind of a new chance.
Yeah.
And that there isn't this long sort of historical record that kind of heavily influences whether the next video is going to be given a chance or not. It's really kind of a meritocracy for each video.
That's right.
Awesome. Okay, last question. If my video is demonetized because maybe it was considered not brand suitable, does the algorithm then decide, oh, well, then we won't promote you anymore? Like, how are those things connected?
So the search and discovery systems that decide sort of which videos to recommend, they don't have any knowledge about what's going on in the advertising system. So if you get that yellow icon that you see that says it may not be suitable for all advertisers, the information about that doesn't even flow into our system. So they're completely different system, different teams manage them. Now, there are cases where these things can overlap in terms of, something that advertisers care about running their ads around might be like profanity or violence or certain controversial topics. They may decide, they just don't want to be associated with that type of content. Similarly, we may find that audiences have similar preferences. So we might find that a profane video, for example, may not be something that everyone on YouTube is going to be interested in. And so if you ever see these things kind of happening, around the same time, it's not because we're looking at, well, what did the advertiser say? Let's do that for the user. That's not how we do it. We're trying to give the viewer what the viewer wants to watch, independent of what the advertiser does. And so they're separate systems. We don't use that monetization information in search and discovery.
So last thing is, the viewers of this channel are super helpful with input. Are there any things that you want to say to them or ask them about for the next one?
I'd just say bring on more questions. I want to know what you want to know, and so just post your questions in the comments, and maybe we'll do another follow-up soon.
Awesome. And I should let everyone know, if you notice, that there's a much nicer set that we're on today. We are at YouTube headquarters in one of the studios that is being lent to us by the folks at Creator Academy. Link below if you want to check that channel out. Super awesome. So we want to thank them for hosting us, and would love input on what you guys think of this layout and sort of set. I know the last one I did was in my home office behind some IKEA furniture. People weren't too impressed by that, but maybe they'll like this a little more. Keep it real.